Welcome to BBC Podcast, tapping in with Tunchi again. Today we got another special edition, got another alumni returning. Got my boy BSG back on the line, man. We've been watching his growth, man. Like he's been expanding, man, like big time. So I'm gonna reach out to him, let him reintroduce himself, and then we're gonna touch up, man, see what's new with him.
Got you. Appreciate that, man. What's up? It's your boy BSG from New York City, man, where the skies are gray. I'm doing my thing. I'm just trying to be a hero for men and also give thanks to the women that support the men out there who are, again, always focusing on trying to grind and grow on themselves and also push those traditional values and hold themselves to them standards, man.
So since last, man, what's new for BSG?
What's new for BSG? Collaborating with It's Tay Tay in June. That's going to be what's up. That's going to be a whole week of me just in super hot ass Texas. I'm going to try and see you guys as well.
Yeah. Sure.
While I'm out there on the other side, definitely meet you guys in person. That's going to be what's up.
Yeah.
But overall, man, I look at my content every single day. I watch my stuff every day, and I'm always telling people, like, I don't put anything out that I can't laugh at. I don't put anything out that I don't think is going to get a point across or is it going to be seen as a lesson to some degree. I'm always trying to look at where I started. You know, I got all my old videos on YouTube. I watch those videos, and a lot of them are cringy. You know, like you all start off in the beginning, they're cringy, but as time goes on, you become more professional. And I'm always just trying to be more creative. I've been recently working harder on my music, my parody music recently.
Okay.
Trying to do more skits, trying to get my point across from more of a unique Black Spider Guy advice kind of theme. I've been kind of staying away from the words like red pill, words like MG, MGTOW, all that stuff, because again, like those words sadly do come with some kind of stigma.
Mm-hmm.
And I want people to know that Black Spider Guy advice, he talks about that stuff, but I'm also talking about other things within that general tone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Ben, speaking of your music, do you have anything? Is it on Spotify or anything? Or?
So I don't have anything on Spotify music wise. No, actually, no, that's a lie. I do have a podcast on Spotify. Everything's Black Spider Guy advice.
Okay. But
I do have some songs on there. I should really have that on Spotify for music, not the podcaster's edition of it.
Okay.
But eventually, once I feel comfortable, because again, I don't want to give people a bad product.
Yeah, I get
so until I feel like I'm giving you guys like good music, I'm not gonna make like a specific Spotify playlist for just me. I know some people have been requesting that. A lot of my followers have been like, "Yo, man, I want your music on Spotify."
Yeah.
Eventually.
Okay. And then I seen, and you've been collaborating on podcasts and stuff like that. You doing something with yourself? Like it's. Oh
yeah. So I was working on some stuff. This guy reached out to me. My boy Raj. He has a podcast called The Full Notice, but he's starting off. He wanted to have somebody that kind of already is in the game.
Okay.
And I'm very big on action. I'm very big on, okay, what are you trying to give to me? I'm giving you my consistency, my effort, my fan base. If we're going to work together and co-host, what's this going to look like? And, I'm very impressed by the man. He's got everything set up very professionally. We're currently building up the podcast as we speak in this nice studio apartment looking over the water, the Hudson, with the Washington Bridge in the back. Full notice. It's going to be nice, man. It's something I'm really happy to be building with this guy, Ross, because, again, I was always trying to figure out how I can step up to the next level. What's the next level? And, when you're doing this on your own, you sometimes forget it's nice when you've got other people who are just as hungry to work right alongside you to get shit done.
Yeah.
So look out for that. Full notice. Definitely would love to have you on, man, because you've been having me on.
Oh, yeah, man. I love it. Love your content for sure.
Appreciate that. I'm just trying to, at the end of the day, just like you got your stuff over there on the West Coast, just like Fresh and pick up this stuff down in Miami. We want to have something here in Jersey. So we just want to set up something and just kind of distinguish on the East Side.
Okay. All right, man. So let's see. Get started a little bit, man. We got always start with the men and always like make sure that we hold men accountable, and then we pay attention down to the women where it drives down, where everybody always wants to see them. That's what they want to gain outside of money. So
right.
BSG's advice would be, give me 3 ways a man 18 to 25, like, where can he build the confidence and how can he stay confident? Like, outside of, like, we know that's where you need to start. You need to build yourself. You need to build your value up. You need to become somebody. So in order to initiate, majority of the time it's easier when you're confident. Like, what are ways that BSG can recommend?
So the first part, man, I would just say is put yourself into turmoil. As fucked up as that may sound, that'd be the first thing. Because people think that, time creates maturity. It definitely doesn't. Iron is only turned into steel when it's put into flame. So you have to constantly put yourself in the fire, constantly test yourself. I know one guy was telling me, I want a girlfriend, but I'm like, have you ever gone up to a girl? He's like, nah. And I'm like, how are you going to be able to handle a woman with all of her ups and downs if you are too scared to initiate and too scared to handle the regret and the pain that comes with that possible rejection? So the first thing I would say, again, is put yourself in the forefront, throw yourself out there. The second thing I would say is you need to ask yourself, and some people wouldn't recommend this, but compare yourself to other men of value, right? Even though they say, oh, don't compare yourself. No, you should definitely compare yourself, especially if that's where you want to be. If you're trying to be like, I don't know, McDonald's and have a multi-trillion-dollar corporation, you need to evaluate their history, see what they did, and try to mimic that in the best way you can. Then you'll see growth. A lot of dudes will, for example, mimic me. One dude was like, yo, I could do what you do. I said, do it. He tried to, but he failed. He's like, I couldn't do it. And I was like, I asked him, I was like, why do you think you couldn't do it? And he's like, honestly, it was the consistency and it's how you give your delivery. I was like, what you do is you mimic, but you don't mimic to the point where you're a copycat, right? Yeah. You take elements of what other men have done and you make it your own. Yeah. And the last thing I would say is work on your trauma, right? You got to work on your trauma. I had a lot of issues with my mother that honestly, now looking back, definitely was holding me back from being able to be my best self. Because again, I feel like you're best able to operate as a man when you're living in complete mental peace and clarity. Yes. You know what I mean? I tell dudes all the time, if you're too emotional, you're basically a living weapon walking around. And, you're not going to be able to work on that business if you're dealing with the trauma of what happened to you when you were a kid. Mind you, I had that trauma like for a long time and it was difficult, but eventually I was able to forgive my mother and now we're very close. Okay. So, again, the first thing I think I said was, put yourself into serious situations. Iron only becomes steel when it's put into flame. Second thing, mimic the people that are successful, take elements of what they do. And the last thing, work on your trauma and just try to heal from that best you can so you have mental clarity so you're able to best do what you can in serious situations.
Okay, real quick, touch up on the trauma part. Where do you recommend, or what helped you to take care of that trauma that you identified and you recognized? Did you speak directly to your mother? Or did you speak to somebody else that gave you some type of direction to take that step?
So what allowed for me to heal with my mother was, number one, I just told her how I felt. For so long, I was holding back what was going through my mind, and it was destroying me. It was eating me up. It was building up. And eventually I had a day of clarity where my mind was just like, we can't hold this in anymore. We're going to either end our life or we're going to tell her like it is so we can move forward. And I told her like it is. And I basically said something under the lines of, I didn't ask to be made. I need your support. I need your assistance. I'm trying to become something. You're either going to help me or you're not. I need to know now. And it was from there that once I set that standard of I'm tired of feeling like I'm disrespected, respect was born out of that, because for so long there was this division. But once I specified what I was actually needing, it brought clarity. I didn't talk into any specific person. I eventually moved out. And I spent a lot of time working on myself, a lot of alone time, going to the gym, asking myself, where would we want to live? Where do we want to travel? Just putting goals out there. And goals are a great way for you to kind of over time just focus on something else. And from you focusing on that goal and trying to get there, you'll eventually become a better person. And you will eventually have to heal in order to reach that goal. Because in order to evolve, I definitely believe when you become this wealthy person of knowledge or this wealthy person of money or what have you, there has to be some kind of evolution in your spirit and your mindset.
Very well said. on top of that, like speaking and reaching out with other people, can you describe to the men how important networking with intention is for a man?
Well, I think in general, a man should move with intention no matter what it is, whether it be going to the gym, waking up, going outside,
Like a purpose.
spending money.
Yeah.
You need to have that purpose or intent. For example, I was talking to a girl on Bumble, right? And this girl was like, "Hey man, how's it going?" I was like, "What's up?" I told her straight up, "I'm looking for a relationship. I'm looking for some kind of long-term something. Is this something that you can do?" And she was like, "Honestly, I do want that, but I also want to focus on my career. I don't think I'm going to have time." Immediately, I removed her and I moved on, right? Because I'm moving with intent. Now, if I didn't know what my intent was, if I didn't know what my goal was, which was a long-term relationship, I would have kept talking to that girl. I would have wasted time with that girl. I would have been kept flirting and, "Hey, how's your day going?" and all that other shit. I would have been wasting my time. But because I'm moving with intent, I can clearly get rid of the obstacles in my way and solely focus on what I want. It saves time, which again is your greatest resource. It may make you come off as like cold, but we don't give a fuck because again, the goal is the goal.
Okay. How should they take steps to be like networking? Where could they go look for to broaden their like opportunities? I would say.
So, I mean, it would depend on what kind of growth they're looking for. Like, are you trying to work on your career? If you're, let's say, a doctor and you're trying to elevate in your field, you're obviously going to have to look at, seminars, universities, teaching hospitals, talking to other attendings, other doctors, see what they've done.
Okay.
And really just buckle down in that field or niche. You know what I'm saying? Are you trying to become a better mother or a better father? Okay, well, you're going to have to go towards where do all the fathers go? Or what's a place that mothers went to that really afterwards made them better and you see a change in them? You know what I'm saying? You got to go to where you want to grow. A lot of people make the mistake of, well, I want to do this, but you got a whole nother goal inside you. And now you just wasted like a couple of years moving to this state, working in a job you don't want to be in, when you should have been networking specifically in your field. Maybe your field wasn't making a lot of money at the start. And so money became the main focus and took you away from your overall view of where you wanted to be and what you wanted to look like. Now you're kind of suffering for that. So again, networking is important because again, you got to move with intent. That's one. Number two, go where you want to go. And number three, expect there to be hardship in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure, man. A lot of people always, that they see if the road has like a little couple bumps in it, they'll go completely around it just to avoid it. They don't understand that's part of the growth that you have to go through.
Facts, man.
Can you share real quick people who are, I know people always, for sure they see you, man, you dropping content like every few hours or stuff like that, man. They're wondering, you probably thinking that you're just like constantly doing this all the time and you don't have like an actual like clock in job. Like I obviously for myself, like I actually, like I'm an entrepreneur myself, like, and this is what I find time for off on the side. As much as content they see me dropping, also too, like this is done on the side. Like, can you share real quick for people who are obviously have like the 9 to 5, but being a content creator or creating content is a passion of theirs? Like how can they do it like BSG and like be consistent and just like get it done?
So I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie, this is a labor of love. I do this every single day and I don't get paid for it really. I do it because this is what I've been doing this for years. I've been uploading every single day since 2020. Every single day on every single platform. YouTube very recently, every single day. My thing is this: you always have time, right? You always have time. If you're on break at work and you're watching a show, that's time. If you're at work and you're just sitting there and there's nothing to do, that's time. If you need to go to the bathroom real quick and you're sitting there and you're reading a text, that's time.
True.
I capitalize on every little bit of time I've got. I work 12-hour shifts in a medical facility.
I see.
Okay? 3 days a week. Sometimes I'm doing overtime, but I still have time to upload every single day because I have a schedule of when I make videos, when it's time for me to edit. I have a prerequisite. I have to upload. This is my rule for myself. I have to upload 2 videos a day, period. 2 videos in the morning.
Like no matter what.
Period. As soon as I wake up, I could be tired as a fuck. I got to make 2 videos.
Okay.
As soon as I wake up. I got to make sure I have at least 5 videos up before 12 o'clock.
Oh, damn.
When it hits 3, I need to have at least 2 videos out. When it hits 6, I need to have some kind of picture, some kind of reference, some kind of quote.
Okay.
When it hits 10, I'm editing again. When it hits 12, I'm uploading 2 more before I go to bed.
Damn.
And that's my schedule.
Yeah.
And I'm consistent like that because we all have to understand we're in competition with one another.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? As fun as this is and as cool as this is, we are all in competition with one another. And because of that, the one that works least gets less. The one that works hardest gets the most.
True.
And so this is why also I have such a varying amount of content as well. Like I've got different characters. I do different things because I don't want people to get bored either. Right. So I look at it as this. I look at myself as a TV channel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when I look at myself as a TV channel, it's like, yo, okay, TV channel's got like what? Cooking. You've got cartoons. You've got news. You've got you doing outdoor shit. You've got interviews. I look at myself as a TV network, and the star of that TV network is me. And the topic is overall helping men.
Yeah. And
there are multiple ways we can do that. How can we get women to understand our message? Shit like that. That's always prevailing in my mind. How can I better convey this message in a way that's unique to me? You know, and so that's basically what I've always go back to inside of my head and allows for me to consistently push forward.
Okay. Real quick, man, if you could just share with them where, I'm pretty sure it's your drive and your passion, like you just said, but how does BSG have the fuel and the energy to keep the consistency up, man? Like I said, like you stay on the internet. Like anytime somebody opens their phone, like you said, they're taking a break, man. It's 4 o'clock, it's 5 o'clock. I open my phone, I flip up, and I'm seeing more reels and more photos of BSG. Like you're consistently on people's phones. Like where does that energy come from?
That energy comes from the fact that I know one day I'm going to be dead. That energy comes from the fact that I work in a field where I see people die every day. That energy comes from people who I meet and I try to heal, and they pass away and they tell me, you know, all their regrets before they die. That energy comes from the fact of knowing that my father has worked all his life and has never had a vacation and is still working right now. So I don't give myself any excuse. You know, I'm asking the universe for a big thing here, and that's to become a famous, powerful, wealthy individual who's able to influence others. So I don't think you can give anything less than your best. And I feel like if you don't give the universe everything you've got, because again, you're asking to become something very powerful that very few individuals are ever able to become. So I think anything less than my best is just, you know, you're actually shooting yourself in the foot. You know, the energy in itself, when even right now, I'm tired. I just worked a 12-hour shift last night. I got 4 hours. I got 4 hours of sleep.
Okay.
I just uploaded 5 videos this morning, made breakfast, and here I am with you. And I do all of that because I know that at the end of the day, when I'm old, I'll be able to say, well, I did everything I could.
Okay.
And I want to be able to say that at 70 years old, laying in a fucking bed, I did everything. Can't nobody say I didn't. I did everything.
I get it, man.
I could.
Leave it all out there. Yeah. So it sounds like you empty the tank every day.
Every day.
Okay.
So I'm always exhausted.
All right. Like we just spoke right now about men like avoiding taking the hard road and hitting the bumps and stuff. When can you elaborate on how, with your experience, how does BSG reset himself after a fumble? Like it happens with everybody, you know, bump in the road, whatever it is. Like, how do you reset yourself to make sure that, like, you know, most people, you'll hit a bump and then they lose some confidence and they want to give up. Like, how do you just reset and keep going?
How do I reset it? The passion, drive. And when I fall, I come back up. I think it's instinctive. Sometimes I wonder how I do what I do. Not to boost myself up or anything like that, because I'm no amazing person, but I think it's because I've suffered a lot in life and I've seen a lot of suffering, and I know what happens when you give up. right? When you give up, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, right, if I give up now, I'm saying, okay, I'm just going to work until I'm dead. I basically died in a different way, right? It's another form of death. It's you saying to the world, you won, you win, life, you beat me, it's over.
Okay.
And I'm a sore fucking loser. And I love to win. As much as I preach to be humble, I am a man at the end of the day. I want to fucking win.
You have to.
And so anything but that, no, just no. In my mind, there's only one clear goal, and that's the top. And if I can't get there, I better be dead. That's what I think of. Me saying, okay, I got to sleep is me just saying, okay, I'm going to choose death now. And I don't want to die just yet. And so that's what keeps pushing me, man. That if I say I'm done, I'm basically saying I'm going to die. I'm choosing death. This is the end. I'm going to work. I'm going to die. That's it. That's what I've decided to do. Not me. I can't do it.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, most people do choose that path. I understand. Like a robot. Okay. How movement is going back and forth on the internet, especially, going on with the Tates and all that other stuff like that. And everybody has this persona of just like only successful males, that they have to be alpha. Like you have to have this label around you just to be successful. Can you speak on that, on the dynamic between, say, the omega, beta, alpha, like those labels, like you're helping men every day, like reset themselves, gain confidence, like stopping the whole self-delete thing, man. Like I've seen BSG do a lot of like work out here and put in the work. Can you give some reference to that on like, is it important, the whole label thing? Can you be a beta and still be successful and still accomplish your goals and get the right woman? Like, can you explain that?
My thing is this. We created these terms like beta, alpha, sigma to help us differentiate between different ways of acting, different behaviors, right? That's all. Humans love to do that. It's just allowing us to better understand the situations that be, what's successful and what is not. You can have a beta mindset, which is just, okay, I'm going to serve other people other than myself and eventually win, right? The nice guy eventually always wins in the end, because as time goes on, people get tired and they eventually lose their options. And so eventually if they lose their options, the only other option is that option, which is you, the nice guy, right? I've met wealthy men that have a beta mindset in a sense that they feel like now that they've got all this money, they are somehow an alpha. And some people will say, well, doesn't a lot of money make you an alpha? It's like, no. You have the purchasing power and the status, but if you're easily manipulated, you're no greater than anybody else, right? Your mentality hasn't been hardened. Your spirit isn't something that can't be faltered. And then you meet dudes who have that alpha spirit, but the overall money and status they have doesn't match it. And so girls will sleep with that guy, but they won't lock him down, because again, girls are all about safety and security shit. But I have met people that can go back and forth. I know some dudes that are quote unquote alpha that use beta tactics to draw in women and then flip it to being an alpha again. Right? So they'll act like they're weaker. They'll act like they're timid. They'll make them feel very comfortable. And then all of a sudden they'll switch into this dom like guy who doesn't take no for an answer. That's very passive aggressive, that's always working on his money. And all of a sudden now the girl that wasn't really interested is all of a sudden like, who the fuck is this guy really? So you can definitely mix and match behaviors. The difference is the ones that utilize the behaviors as a tool versus the ones that are actually emulating it because they believe it works, right? So for example, if you're an alpha guy, you're like, I'm an alpha guy, can't be beta. So you're always thinking that you got to be this musclehead, this strong guy, doesn't give a fuck. But at the same time, if you can't counterbalance that, it's too much of one other side. Same with a simp, right? Oh, a man is supposed to be a chivalrous knight that does everything he can. It's like, that's great, right? You should want to help people, but you're helping people to the point where you're being fucking abused. So what you need to be able to do is kind of sit in the middle and be able to look at these two behaviors as tools, and always just be this calm, stoic guy that can turn on and off different things during different different situations. You want to be a multi-tool of behavioral science. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, like that. Real quick, obviously, like no names and all, but just a short, brief, like little story of. Can you share with the viewers of what is the most shocking moment that you've had since you've become BSG, like, and somebody's reached out to you in trouble, and how you helped them and how they like changed their life and progressed? Can you share like a short story on how that happened?
Yeah, I mean, I have so many followers. I've been doing this for so long. I always try to post when I get a nice message from somebody on my feed, just to give thanks to those people, to give reverence to me because they didn't have to do that. I had a guy, he's 18 years old, was wanting to end himself, kicked out of his family's house. His girlfriend was acting mad shady. And he was just really kind of lost. You know, he was in that beginning stage of where do I go? What do I do? And what will I be kind of mindset as a guy that we all have in the beginning. And so he came to me, reached out to me. And, you know, first and foremost, I asked him, I was like, look, man, are you able to sit still by yourself and be at peace? You know what I'm saying? I remember when I didn't have money. I remember when I didn't have a job. I remember when I didn't have a home. I literally sat on the sidewalk and I just said, okay, we don't have anything right now. How do we feel? And once you're able to kind of in your lowest moment find peace, I feel like then all that's left is for you to build upon who you are and aim where you're going to go, right? You got to hit rock bottom, I feel, sometimes if you really want to aim to the top because you don't know what suffering really is yet to kind of gauge what the top really is. Yeah. But, you know, over time, over a couple of years' time, now he's got a job. You know, he's got his own little apartment. He's got a little rinky-dink car, but hey, he's able to get from point A to point B. Yeah. And he stopped worrying about girls for a good couple of years. And he's like, yo, Spider Guy, you changed my life, man. I really appreciate that, man. I was lost. You know, I thought you were just a comedian. But, you know, you sat down with me in my darkest hour. And I really just want to say thank you. And it's shit like that, man. I'm not going to lie. When I'm sitting down, I'm like, damn, man, I'm not making any money really doing this. Damn, man, I should just take a break. And when I read that, I'm like, nah, we got to keep going, man. We got to keep pushing because there's people out there that they watch a video at 3:00 in the morning and they got a fucking knife in their hand and they see a silly video of mine and they're like, wait a minute, she isn't my metric of my value. I'm my own metric of my value, you know? I can do this, you know. He's wearing a mask, he's being goofy and shit, but he's living a good enough life to where he's confident enough to do that. So maybe I can kind of emulate a little bit of those behaviors. So, you know, when I'm able to have somebody say, Spider Guy was about to end my life, but watching your video made me not do that, or Spider Guy, my marriage was going the wrong way, I put my foot down and now my wife respects me. It's just like, you know, fuck, man. There's a reason why we do certain things, and whether it's God, whether it's the universe, I don't know what it is, but definitely touches my soul when I'm able to read those messages. And I have people who, you know, out of the blue would just be like, I just want to say thank you. It's very rare that you get that in regular life, so to get that here is very nice.
Yeah, I've seen, man. That's why I was like, needed you to share something, man, because I these people, they need to see just like where all this fuel and everything's coming from, like what's pushing and keeping BSG rolling. So yeah, like that. You spoke right now on marriages and stuff, like real quick, and relationships. Like we're gonna transcend into that. What word does BSG have for these men that are, I don't know, I want to say use the nice guy, but I don't know. I'm just saying, just treating your woman right, like, you know, doing all the things that you're supposed to do, provide like security, loving, and just caring for a woman that's not giving you reciprocation, like. You're not receiving none of that back. The wife's ignoring them. They're not being intimate. Like things are just fading. She's not respecting them, but the man's still holding on to that and ends up going through a whole trauma, divorce, and all stuff like that. You know, and they don't know where to find themselves now to reset. They give up. They don't want to go get another woman. They want the same woman again. They keep on going back and trying to find her and convince her to come back, even though, you know, she's not the right woman, obviously. But the men don't want to let it go. What type of advice do you have for that man? Like, how can he let that go and then just rework on himself?
Well, a man needs to understand a woman is his greatest investment. It's like when you put money into a stock. You know, when I invest money into a stock, I expect a return. And if I'm not getting a return on my investment, I pull my money out. And unfortunately, a lot of men love idealistically. A lot of us love idealistically. And that's just to say, we feel like if we do enough things, okay, now she'll love me. If I do this, now she'll love me. I take care of her, she loves me. And unfortunately, a lot of guys don't understand that being a husband don't really matter in this day and age when a girl can literally get money, housing, clothing, free trips from random strangers. All those things that a husband can do, random men that she's not tied to can do. So a man needs to also understand that just because you marrying her don't mean that she can't monkey branch. Doesn't mean that she can't talk to somebody else. Doesn't mean that she can't be loyal. I'll tell you, my father always says, and he's been married, my father and my mother have been married for 38 years. My father always said, son, you don't love them all the way, right? You don't give them your soul, because when a man loves with his soul, he ends up destroying stuff when he loses his soul, right? A girl's very good at being able to move from one man to the next, because a woman technically is never really alone. There's always some guy ready to take care of her. For a man, that's not the case. So when we give a girl everything and we lose everything, well, what do we have? Nothing. So a man with nothing, who has nothing to lose, very dangerous, right? So a man needs to make sure he's loving her enough, but always has enough of himself to where if he loses a piece of himself, he's still got the rest to hold on to. Again, it's very unfortunate. A lot of older dudes, for example, will think that because they met their woman in 1975, it's 2023, that she's still 1975. And that's not the case, because women are always picking up on different lessons from different women. They got that sisterhood shit going on. So again, as men, we need to be aware that women are very adaptable. So we too need to be adaptable and be aware of our investment, which is our time, our life, and our focus. And once a man really understands that at the end of the day, you're the one that is carrying this shit home, you're going to start acting in different ways, because unfortunately, again, a lot of dudes feel like they're supposed to give all this to a woman just because she's a woman, and they're not expecting any kind of behavior back. Me, that's no. If you expected me to give you this and that, best believe I need some kind of reciprocation and behavior, because if not, you're just a stranger at that point that I'm giving all this money and attention to, and I could easily get rid of a stranger. So, again, men need to understand their value comes inherently from themselves, not from their woman, and know that she's picking you because you're able to provide a specific job.
True.
And you're able to do that very well, and you're the one that she picked. But best believe she can pick another. And because you are always just an option to a large margin, that should keep you grounded. Right? When I say it's just your turn, I'm not saying you can't be in a relationship. I'm not saying you can't be with a woman. What I'm saying is you need to be aware that eventually this shit could just be your turn. It's to keep you aware of the possibility of failure.
Okay. What would you speak on, or how do you feel about the dynamic of men shopping for women within their range? Let's say the man is overall income, looks, value, and everything is let's give him a 7. Should he be shopping for a woman that's 9s and 10s, or should he be shopping for a woman within his range that she adds up with value around the same?
A man should never try to buy a car he can't afford. Even though I know girls are going to hate that analogy, it's the truth. A man should never buy a house he can't afford. Right? A man looks at things from a very A to B concept. I'm using an A to B concept and analogy, so ladies, don't hate on me too much. I'm not calling you a vehicle. Just relax. My thing is this, right? Like, at the end of the day, a man really needs to understand where he is in the social hierarchy, right? If you're a doctor, how much money you making? If you're a chef, how much money you making? Understand that if you're a chef working at a restaurant, but she's constantly going out, she's going to be running around with other dudes that eventually have a higher status than you, have more money than you. Or if it's easy for me to emulate how much money you got, best believe she can and will shop around. Now, obviously, there are people who won't do that. There are women that won't do that. But a majority of women do this because, again, this is something that is inherent to their overall nature of what they are. Again, safety, security, stability. No woman wants to sleep in a fucking shack. True. I don't care how nice she is. I don't care how humble she is. If a man is willing to let her sleep in his silver-lined, diamond-studded shower, and she's used to just sleeping in poverty, best believe she's going to go to that gold-studded shower. Yeah. So you as a man have to constantly be trying to evolve and improve in your status. That way, as she increases in her value, and that can be just from her changing her fucking clothes, right? You two need to also be able to do the same damn thing, but from a financial and mental standpoint. And if you can't keep up with that, best believe another man is keeping up with that, and she will entertain that man.
So what about the men that are saying, hey, but BSG, she's different. Like, I believe her. She says she doesn't care about all the income and all the cars and all stuff like that. She just wants just me and my attention. Like, and I know I don't have that much money right now. I'm not that much high value, but like, I trust her and I believe her.
There was a woman that said, I will take care of my man to a point. For a woman, there's always a point, right? There's always a limit. That limit might be higher than regular women, but there's still a limit. If I'm constantly giving her cornbread and water, eventually she'll get tired of it, right? Yeah. Especially if you got friends that are eating steak and filet mignon.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. And you gotta and men need to understand that shit. You need to get out of this whole trust, lovey-dovey emotion shit and be very, very realistic. Very realistic. Again, a woman will forgive a man that is evil if he's able to provide a great lifestyle. Look at all the gangsters. Look at all the drug dealers, okay? But a woman will not forgive a very kind man that lives in poverty. Look at all the homelessness, right? Mm-hmm. Because if being a sweet, caring guy was all you needed, every homeless man would have a rich woman or a beautiful woman or an attractive woman or a 10, right? We have to be realistic. Life is showing us reality. Mm-hmm. If you're an evil mother effer with a lot of money, you can get any woman in the world. If you're a kind, sweet soul that works in a food kitchen, you're not getting that awesome woman. Now, could you get a good woman? Possibly. Mm-hmm. But you got to understand, women are always conflating their value with other women. They're always competing with each other. So if she sees that she's always hanging out with so-and-so, and so-and-so got more money than you, mm-hmm. and her friends are constantly bombarding her with, hey, your man don't do this, your man don't do that, eventually it will wear on her conscience, wait a minute, we can do better. Because, again, a woman's instinct is based upon her survival, not about everybody else's. See, a man's instinct is based upon protecting the fort, protecting everybody, saving the day. Girls are about protecting me. Me.
Very true.
So anything that can elevate or break her down, she's very focused upon. And we have to look at history. We have to look at the numbers and be realistic. I get tired when I hear dudes talk about this whole, well, I trust her shit, because I know dudes that said that and their wife was getting banged out in DR, their wife was getting banged out in Colombia, and I'm just going on a trip with my girls was the answer. Yeah. So,
all right, touch up on that. Also, men that are seeing a woman like going through something, just broke up with her baby's dad, has 2 kids, she's struggling, but he happened to catch her, slid up in her DMs, and he's actually catching her whole story. He's looking behind the photos. She's filling them in like, oh, man, I'm struggling right now. Like, lost my car, and I got 2 kids trying to get them to school and stuff like that. What message do you have for the men that are like, that have that cape on, that's like, oh, man, this is easier for me to get this woman because she needs a man. She needs someone to save her right now, and I'm a volunteer myself.
You got to understand that how you meet a woman is how it's going to end. My dad always says, like, how you start something is how it's probably going to end. If somebody's meeting you with desperation to get your attention, best believe that's not somebody that's trying to aid or add. That's someone that's not trying to subtract and pull, right? That's a trap. It's an obvious trap. I am very low. I am in trouble, right? It's damsel in distress thing. Girls do it all the time. You'd be at work, for example, and a girl will say, in her nicest, most polite, she'll lower herself. She'll look right at you with puppy dog eyes. That's because girls instinctively know when they act from a form of submission, it wakes up a male's dominant nature and he wants to save her. That's female instinct. Being aware of male instinct, acting in accordance to that to get something out of us. That's something that's been built into us for centuries. So anytime I feel a woman is going down in that lower submission, when I know that's not the way she is, that's a telltale sign of danger. If she is in a situation where, the baby father this and that, and the baby's this and that, understand that's a tornado, and you're trying to go in there and you're trying to do something unnatural and stop a tornado. You're a human being, right? And eventually you got to understand, a woman will use you if you put yourself out there to be used. Best believe any woman will use you if you put yourself out there to be the mule. But at the end of the day, girl don't want a mule. She wants a stallion, right? True. So you got to understand that. She'll use the mule, but she'll take pictures with the stallion, right? You got to understand that.
Okay. Another thing would be men that are usually softer to women, nicer to women, and they always turn around and look back, man, like, I did all this for her, gave her all this attention, I'm still in the friend zone, and the guy that she complained about, the asshole, she still ended up hooking up with him. Like, anyways. Like, even though I gave her advice and she knew that she got hurt before, she still went back to the bad boy. Like, and he's sitting back thinking, like, do I need to convert from being a nice guy to an asshole or to be the bad boy? What do you think about, or what do you say to those men that are in between and thinking, like, should they cross over? Should they be the asshole? Should they be the nice guy?
The thing is that guys will conflate being a bad boy with just a man that holds himself to a standard, right? You got to ask yourself as a man, why do women want men at all, right? Women are looking for safety, security, and stability. Women are looking for a leader. Women are looking for a man that can knock somebody out if they hit them, right? If a man is constantly giving, that's not a leader. That's a giver. That's somebody that can be easily utilized and then thrown away. In nature, the one that's constantly got their A open and got a wound ready to be utilized by an attacker is the one that dies the fastest. The one that's the most conservative lives the longest. The guy that's got the tent in the cave with the bottle of water and the tank of gas is a lot better than the one that's got no cave, no tent, got all his supplies out and saying, everybody take from me. If you are nice to me, I'll be nice to you, I'll give. Girls are not looking for a man that has no fortress, right? When you're open and you're giving, that's like having no castle walls. That's like being homeless. You have nothing to protect. You have nothing of value in your treasure trove, nothing in the middle of your city for me to steal from.
Okay.
But if you're a man of, nah, I'm good. Nah, hold on a minute. You've got castle walls. Wait a minute. This man got walls. This man got a fortress. There's something of value in there. There's some treasure in there that he's protecting. What is that? That's what a girl's looking for. A girl's looking for value. And a man that usually has value is also someone that exudes walls and has barriers.
Okay. Speaking of boundaries and stuff, like, how can you, or how BSG going to advise the guy that he's scared to say no to the girl because he's scared for her to walk away? He's in fear of losing that woman, so focused on that woman, when if he had himself all together, he would have more options. Men that don't have options are scared to say no. Like, what do you say to those men?
Those men are afraid to lose something that was never theirs.
I like that. See,
it was never yours. Yeah. How can you be upset about losing something that was of another man's? That would be like me being upset that the apartment that I rent, because I wasn't able to pay that rent, some other man is now being moved in. Oh, that's not fair. It's not mine. It was never mine. Yeah. I was just temporarily holding a space. I can no longer afford to temporarily hold that space. So now another person is coming to take my place. That's how that works. And when a dude is like, oh, but I don't want to lose her, bro, you don't have anything to lose. There's nothing to lose. Yeah. So how can you tell me you're afraid? Afraid of what? You're afraid of the feelings that you have. You're afraid of the loss of hope of having her, right? See, hope, I don't like hope. Hope is annoying because hope be telling you it's possible. Hope be telling you, hey, you're almost there. I don't need almost. I don't need what if. I don't need maybe. I need yes. I need we're going to go here. I need this is going to happen. I need this is the progress of what we're currently doing. Anything else is garbage to me. Yeah. If a girl's like, well, I think, I don't need that shit. I need to know, what are we? Where are we going? What are we doing? If you can't answer these things, I'm going to leave. I'm going to conserve my energy. And a woman will respect you a lot more if you do that than if you're constantly giving. And I hear it all the time. That man's desperate. Oh my God, he's so thirsty. They don't respect that. Yeah. And you'll hear it from girls all the time. I don't know why, but I just don't like them anymore. Man. That's their instinct.
Get that on the show all the time with the ladies on my show, man. They tell the same story.
That's the instinct, man. It's the inner instinct. They are looking for a man that is conservative, that says, fuck you, that says, listen to what I have to say, that says, this is what we're doing. Because that is, you got to remember, humans were born in a time period of nothing but death. We were easily eaten and killed for a long period of time. That's why we're instinctively afraid of the dark. That's something that's built into us over time. Because in the dark, there was nothing but beasts and monsters. And so the female that had the man that was willing to say, follow me, go this way, was usually the one that lived the longest. And that behavior has saved itself within our genetics. And over time, now girls have it, even though they don't want to believe it, instinctively built into them as such.
I like that analogy. Ways for men to be able to dissect the woman and understand that she is about him and she's invested in him, and she's just not letting time pass by. Like, I get a lot of women on the show and just be like, she was talking to a guy for a while just for the attention, some comfort, while she was getting her mind together on whether she's going to go back to the other guy. She was entertaining it basically and just receiving and not giving anything back. How can a man dissect that, like, in a woman?
How can a man dissect when a girl is just trying to entertain? But my thing is this, right? You as a man should know as far as whether or not your resources are being used or not, because you overall have an intent yourself. You have a goal. I'm not just talking to you willy-nilly. Oh, so how was your day? No. You coming over?
Yeah.
I speak with direction, right? You coming over? Yo, your day was cool. That's great. So when am I going to meet you again?
Okay.
Oh, that was cool. Fantastic. Okay, so this is what we're going to do tomorrow. Oh, I don't want to. Oh, I can't. Okay, cool. I'm going to start entertaining other people that listen to my direction. Right? You as a man need to kind of search. You need to act as if you're a manager and you're her manager. And you need to see whether or not she's willing to listen to your managerial duties, rules, and regulations or not. And if she's not listening, you're going to go, okay, well, you're a great coworker. Again, you need to think of yourself as a business. As you're the manager of your business, which is your life. And is this woman going to assist you in your goals? Is she going to support you and therefore benefit? Or is she just trying to come in as her own manager? And she's trying to come into your business and say, okay, this is how we're going to run the business. This is my business. Are you going to come in here and support or not? Are you going to be one of my supervisors, or are you going to come in here and try to be a nuisance? If not, I got to fire the nuisance and hire somebody that wants to actually work.
Very, very true. What's another trait? I mean, what are just, give me 3 traits. Men need to work on themselves. They need to always make sure that they put themselves first, building themselves up before they invest time and invest all their energy and assets into a woman, which gets them off track majority of the time if they're not prioritizing themselves. What traits should men practice so that way they're not worrying about if they're on the radar with women or not? Like, they need to just focus on 3 things?
Number 1, what's your net worth right now? What's your net worth right now? Every week, your net worth should be increasing by $10.
Okay.
Everybody got $10. Your net worth should be increasing every week by $10. Okay. That's your high score in life.
Okay.
You should be thinking about that every fucking week. Yo, what's our net worth right now? Because if your net worth is high, your food is tasting good. Your clothes are looking fresh. Right? If your net worth is high, things are going up. Right? So that's the first thing. Number 2, how are we looking when we walk in the room? I had somebody yesterday tell me, yo, man, you walk in the room with such presence. Because I got big ass shoulders and shit, but I work out, I train.
Yeah.
How are people perceiving us right now? When I walk into a room, am I getting people looking at me like, okay, let's not fuck with this dude? Or am I getting looks of whatever?
Okay.
Are people addressing me in a low tone, or are they a little intimidated? But like what am I getting? How am I being perceived right now? Perception is key to instruction. No one's going to listen to a dude with his balls hanging out, pants down, saying I'm the king of the world. We're going to laugh at you because you're presenting yourself in some kind of crazy goofball way. That's insane. And the last one I would say is your overall awareness of people in your immediate vicinity. And by that, friends, acquaintances, and family. Friends, acquaintances, and family. These are people that are immediately able to utilize you at any moment in time, and people that you give money and resources to, right? Are these people adding positive energy, or are they giving you negative energy? How are you dealing with that? Man, you were talking to that dude for like 3 hours. After that conversation, how did you feel? You feeling good?
Yeah.
You feeling like shit? Every time you talk to that guy, do you feel like shit? Maybe that negative talk needs to stop. Maybe you need to eliminate talking to that person. When you talk to this girl, yo, she makes you feel good, right? Yeah. Okay, maybe you need to talk to this person a little bit more. So you need to be aware of the people that are coming into your inner circle. You need to be aware of that network, that value, and overall how people are perceiving you when you walk in the fucking room. That is heavy.
Very, very true. Real quick, it's not even on my question card, but you just triggered it right now. What 2 things would BSG say is important when you walk into a room? Should you be a man that looks like, obviously you're of status? Should you be a man that has that controls? I say control the room as in like a dominant figure that you can tell that this man like is assertive and dominant, or does the approachable, I'm nice, I'm easy to talk to type of guy, which one is more like, I guess,
strong? You need to be strong.
Okay.
Strong and firm. As a dude that works in the medical field, I meet people every day. I meet rich people, poor people, tall people, fit people. I meet everybody. And I can tell you this, the two dudes that when they walk in a room that usually get the most attention is the tall man that's fit, that's quiet, and is moving like he's going somewhere. Move like you're going somewhere, right? Or number two, the quiet dude, but very well dressed. And you can see the cuts and curves in his fitness. Again, when it comes to a man, strength is one of our biggest prerequisites because that's what we're known for, strength. And women are always comparing you to the men around her. So if your strength level looking low, best believe your value also going to look a little low. If you're walking in with a slouch versus your chest is perked up, your shoulders are square. That may be very basic knowledge, but I can tell you when I walk with my chest out versus if I'm slacking down, I get double the time I get girls because I work in a field where there's mostly women. I got girls touching me more when I'm upright and my shoulders are down than when I'm slouching like that.
Okay.
So definitely when you walk into a room, you don't want to walk in as if you're about to burn the place down, but you want to walk as if you could do it.
Okay. And can you explain health-wise and physique and building yourself up mentally, but more physically, why is that important as a man?
Well, number one, you want to have stamina for the fun. That's just number one. You need to have stamina. Girls looking for a man that can do well in that regard. But number two, your fitness is going to add to your business. It's going to add to the energy you've got. I mean, hell, I'm able to do all this because I'm so fit. I wouldn't be able to wake up in the morning, 4 hours of sleep, go work, go to the gym. I wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff if I wasn't healthy, if I wasn't watching what I eat, if I wasn't drinking water, if I wasn't taking my multivitamins, if I wasn't, trying to be mentally clear, meditating all the time. I would not be able to speak as fast as I do and as quick as I do if I wasn't working on my mental health, wasn't going out to the park and just relax and listen into nature. That is just key. Fitness is key. I don't care what anybody says. The more your body is aligned with nature, the more energy you're going to have to put into your overall business and goals.
Okay. And to attach on to that, what is BSG's version of, like, I'm going to take away the internet slogan of a high value. What is BSG's version of above average man?
I mean, an above average man is going to be a guy that's net worth is above the average overall mean that a normal guy would have as far as money. His lifestyle is usually that of a man who's traveling. He's constantly trying to collaborate with other people, grow his brand. He's focusing on the future. He's got a 10-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 20-year plan. He's thinking about legacy. He's thinking about, where's my family going to be in 20 years? Am I going to have a son? Am I going to have a daughter? What happens if I have either or? Do I have money set aside? He's constantly thinking about his life like it's a business to be run, and he's trying to efficiently fix pieces of it that he's lacking in. You know what I'm saying? Whether that be fitness. Okay, maybe I need more sleep. Okay, I go to the dentist 3 times a year, man. I'm always making sure my teeth are good. I go to the doctor twice a year. Oh, hell yeah. I get my eyes checked twice a year. You gotta look under the hood. You gotta make sure everything's good. I'm looking at my apartment. I'm asking myself, do we want to live here for another 2 years? Do we want to live here for another 3 years? What's our money looking like? Okay, we want to travel. Where have we traveled? So a man that's on his shit, a high value man, he's not focusing really on women. He's focusing on the next goal, the next achievement, the next collab, his overall net worth, and his ability to aid in his family's legacy. these things will eventually draw women towards you because, again, women are looking for safety, security, and stability.
Mm-hmm. Like that, man. You my first guest, man. That's really actually like spoke up on like net worth, man. It's like it's very, very important. People don't even use that word really. They always use something else, man. That's very important. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I see this all the time, man. Skimming through my social media, man, and I see you always drop these reels all the time, man, about like Venom getting at these guys that are just giving women too much attention. They get drawn in by the videos and the TikToks of the girls showing cheeks or cleavage and all stuff like that, man. Like, what's the message you got for these guys?
My thing is this, man. You got to really ask yourself: do you think that a woman that's completely just showing her body is equatable to the value of a wealthier man that's worked hard every day? I don't think so. But girls do that because we give them that amount of value. We give them that amount of attention equal to that of some kind of celebrity. And what it's doing is it's inflating the egos of a lot of girls. It's making them feel like they're basically like Cleopatra and they need a pharaoh. And if you're not a pharaoh, then you're nothing. But a lot of these girls need to understand that just because you got a big ass and a pair of big titties doesn't mean that you're not of a lower value. Because again, you're being valued for your physicality. You're being valued as a tool for my lust. That's pretty much all it is, right? You're exploiting my instinctive desire to mate. I can't touch you or see you other than through this screen. And you're teasing my instinct and saying, well, I'll give you more access to seeing me and giving me this attention if you provide. It is another form of relationship to a degree. And it satisfies a lot of men's instinct to protect. And it also tickles the instinct of a man's overall desire of having a woman, because a lot of these dudes feel like, well, if I'm providing for her in some way, I'm technically connected to her. And because they can't get that real shit, they're willing to deal with that fake artificial shit. And so Alpha Venom, all he's trying to do is say, hey, that time that you're putting into this, at the end of the day, is being burned away. The time that you're putting into this video, this movie, this picture, could have been put into increasing your value. Could have been put into making yourself the man that girl would want. You know what I mean? Because I say it like this: if you're spending money on a chick all the time and she don't want to just come see you, that's the problem. That means that your wallet is more valuable than you. And I'll be damned if I'm more valuable. Sorry, my money is more valuable than me. Because I'm more valuable than my money. You make the money, right? Yeah. Money don't make you. Exactly. But if a girl is constantly only after you when the money is available, she's dating your money. She's not dating you.
Very true. If you can speak up on it real quick, I haven't done it yet because I need to actually get the footage from her. But I had a guest that was on my show maybe like 2 weeks ago. The woman showed us her DMs, man. She said some dude was like constantly like hitting her up all the time. She throws a story up. He's always like addressing her, throwing flames and hearts all over her photos and stuff like that. And she's showing us how she never responds to him. She was just showing like, look, like message after message. And she said finally the man, she's like, he gave a compliment on something that she did like at work, showing her just her hands. So she said, thank you. And then right after he got the acknowledgement of thank you, he started pouring in like, hey, can we go on a date? This and that, being thirsty. And then just like, finally got straight to the point. He was like, hey man, look, I'll give $500. Like, can I just hook up with you and let's just have sex? Or I'll give you 800. I'll give you 1,000. And she's showing us the messages. And I was like, man, give me that footage, man. I need to make a video on this. It's crazy. What message do you have to that guy that he was just flaunting to her that like, I don't care. I want you so bad. Like money's not an option to me and I'll spend it on you.
He needs post-nut clarity. That's what he needs. He sounds like he needs some post-nut clarity. He's leading with his lust, not with his mind. And unfortunately, a lot of guys don't understand, like, let's say he did get her. Let's say he did sleep with her, right? After the post-nut clarity, are you still going to want to be with her?
True.
Are you still going to want to date her? Are you going to still want to be able to wake up, deal with her problems, deal with her family, deal with the other dudes trying to thirst for her just like you? You know, a lot of dudes like, yo, man, Spider Guy, man, you crazy, man. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to save you because a lot of you are just looking at her physicality and wanting to bang her, not realizing this is a whole fucking human being that has a whole story, trauma, lifestyle. You don't know nothing besides titty and ass. You're going to put yourself in a situation where you are getting screwed over. You don't know if she's a thief. You don't know if she's a killer.
True.
She could have a whole gang where, you know, they'll use her to get men to then rob. And there's dudes getting robbed in Miami. So, you know, a lot of men feel like, oh my God, this is the one. And they just go out of their way, not realizing all you're doing is saying, rob me, please rob me.
Okay. And my last question, man, we're going to stay. It's we're first start of the second quarter of 2023. A man he needs direction. He comes across your content, and here he is. He sees all these life lessons and stuff like that you're sharing with yourself, and the knowledge that you gain, and you're actually sharing to other people that can help him. What advice do you have for, hey man, you found me, you're 23 years old, fresh graduated, say you got a bachelor's degree, you're in between you don't know that you're going with your career, just broke up with your girlfriend. What does BSG have advice for you?
BSG's advice is going to be grind on your purpose, your body, and your mind. And in time, you'll get that girl. A lot of dudes want that girl so bad they don't understand that they can get that girl at 30. They can get that girl at 28. Usually the girls you want at 20, you can't get until you turn 30. Because again, a girl is looking for what? Money, safety, security. Who has that usually more? Older men. So, you know, you got to understand that this is your incubation period as a man. You're incubating, you're growing, you're building the memories, you're building the status in this moment. Don't shortchange yourself in the incubation period, because you're going to shortchange yourself when it comes to getting a woman. Don't shortchange yourself in those life lessons, because when it does come time to deal with a woman, you're not going to be able to differentiate between a thief and an actual good woman. So, you know, I would tell that dude again, man, we're going to talk about your incubation period. We're going to grind on certain aspects of yourself that maybe you don't focus on. And we're going to get you ready for when you turn 29 to get that girl you want.
Okay, well said. And lastly, man, can you please let my subscribers know what's in store for the rest of 2023 for BSG?
What's in store is just trying to collab with more people, trying to travel a lot more, go to different states. My goal overall is to go to each state, and in each state I collaborate with a big either podcaster or YouTube or content creator. So you're going to see more of that, hopefully.
Very, very good. Real quick, man, can you share, what was your intake on going overseas to Europe, U.S. women and Europe women? See a difference?
I would say Europe women are more conservative. Even though they have liberal views, obviously, I would say they're still more family-oriented than over in America, definitely. There's still feminism over there. They still wear the nose ring and the dyed hair. But I would say they still have an inkling of history and culture, and that definitely affects how they treat you overall.
Okay. I was wondering the intake on that. Like, are they different, or are they just speaking that because everyone in the West is just mad at the women over here? So in
London, they act more American, but as you venture out, you're going to get a taste of different things.
Okay. All right. Appreciate you doing the show again, man.
Yeah, man.